Thank you, Doreen, moderator today. Let me start by saying that I'm grateful and wish to point out the importance of the co-chairs, GSM. Carlos has been constantly engaged, ITU Secretary General, UNESCO, distinguished members of the Broadband Commission. I can't emphasize enough how the work that has been done over the years is so important. And especially I'm saying this thinking about the next day, tomorrow, we have Transform Africa Summit. So the connection with the two is very important, even more important in a much broader sense, because it's not just going to work or has not been working for Africa alone, but for global community. So the ideas that have been drawn from the discussions in the Broadband Commission over the years are critically important. They have generated even more ideas that we can keep debating. And as I say that, we keep debating these good ideas, but at the end of the day, I think it's upon all of us and others who are not here in this room, but the wider communities that we want served, we must find something that works for us to make the difference we want and to take us to the objectives we have set for ourselves. That is the whole essence. It's a good process. It generates many things we can base on to do what we intend to do and achieve. But indeed, we must get things done. I think that is the most important thing. For example, one of the things that was mentioned, Africa being left behind. It is true in a sense, but I think we have known that for very long. And we have also known why we've been left behind. And we have studied what can change the situation. We always talk about it in discussions like this, and many important ideas come out as to what we can do to be able to accelerate our development. So even with Africa, we need, therefore, and that is probably the message tomorrow, we can't just keep talking about how we are left behind as if it is impressive to be left behind. We need to talk about being left behind with a sense of a mission we have, and that is urgent, to absolutely change the situation. And we have seen many instances that prove to us that we can. And we can, not only just Africa on its own, but Africa working with the rest of the world, as the case has been anyway, only having to work differently from what the case has been in that past. So the Broadband Commission helps put us together, put all these very good ideas on which we can build actions, and starting with Africa, indeed, that is left behind, but that cannot stay behind. It's not a permanent state that we should be having in mind. So let's make the most of the situation as it is. as characterized by the Broadband Commission and the very impressive work it has done. And I thank every individual here who has really put in a lot of effort in making the contribution they have made, and the teams that put together the report that again shows us the way forward and the task ahead. Even if complicated, it is, I think we should also be looking at ourselves as up to the job to deal with that by just doubling our efforts and doing things that we need to do to see our communities in the world develop. As we close, I would like to bring an important matter to your attention, but which fits again in the discussions we have had and what I've just pointed out. As you know, ITU has been working towards global harmonization on issues around standards, spectrum, and ICT. I think those kept coming up here in this meeting. This is essential for the growth, therefore, of wireless services, especially satellite-based services and mobile services, which are critical for bringing broadband to the most underserved areas. Again, these are things that have come from different viewpoints that were raised here that I want to emphasize. Going forward, therefore, ITU serving all of us, we would like to see that with them, the African Union Commission, together with the private sector, will be collaborating even more closely to advance this mission and achieve Broadband Commission targets. Supporting these efforts will help bridge the digital divide in Africa, particularly by thoroughly assessing the broadband needs in schools, hospitals, health communities, and other communities across the African Union. This will also reinforce Smart Africa's Internet for All and Education for All initiatives. I hope you have, much as you have been working very hard, especially most of you, I hope you have remembered to have some fun as well, and we maybe have more of that at the event this evening, and that you will enjoy the conference tomorrow. For those who will be able to stay with us, we appreciate that, and for those who have not been able, who are not going to be able to be with us, I wanted to thank you also and say that we understand. I'm sure you would have stayed if your time allowed, but we still count your presence here today as very critical. And once again, I wish all of you a happy stay here and a safe journey back home. Thank you very much.